The flame of Ember Prime was supposed to die quietly. Once a beacon of human colonization, the distant world had been abandoned after the last great exodus. Scavengers stripped the cities bare. Once glorious towers built to touch foreign suns were now little more than skeletons outlined against the red sky. The hegemony had conquered thousands of worlds, enslaved, assimilated, erased. Humanity had long since lost its voice in galactic affairs. Its last ambassadors nothing more than stories traded in dim-lit spaceport bars. To the hegemony, Ember Prime was nothing more than a resource-rich husk to be harvested. But Ember Prime's story wasn't over. Orbiting above, the regnant hegemony watched the surface with cold eyes until the first resistance broadcast. A crackling message, short and defiant, interrupted every channel in the system. Her breath fogged in the morning cold as she relayed enemy movements to her scattered team. This world is under human protection. Turn back or face consequences. It was a joke at first. A handful of rebels, perhaps a broken AI or a rogue transmission. Their leader, Mara, was a mechanic before she became a soldier. The ruins came alive. Hidden mines exploded. Drones swarmed the lead vehicles, hacking their systems and causing chaos. Resistance fighters fired from the shadows, then melted away, drawing the invaders deeper into the labyrinth of old Earth technology. She'd lost her home, her family, and most of her hope, but not her will. Mara saw her people falter, but she pressed on, ducking under debris and rallying her team by voice alone. If we fall, the memory of humanity falls with us. They had monitored Ember Prime for years, hoping for a chance to strike a blow for humanity. Their equipment was salvaged and mismatched. Pulse rifles, homemade railguns, centuries-old EMP grenades. But they had the element of surprise and, more importantly, nowhere else to run. But if Ember Prime falls, there's nothing left for any of us. If we move now, we might be able to punch a hole through their blockade, get supplies or reinforcements down to the surface. But when the hegemony's first landing craft vanished without a trace, and the second was greeted with an inferno, the joke turned serious. The hegemony sent a fleet. And below, in the ruined shadows, humanity prepared to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. Mara Ashford crouched in the heart of a shattered cathedral, eyes glued to the flickering display of a hacked sensor drone. All units, hegemony armor moving along the eastern ridge. 3 minutes. Her squad, just 7 humans and 1 battered synth, responded with grim focus. The old fusion core in the city's power plant, it can be overloaded. Take out their main camp. The hegemony's ground forces now outnumbered them 10-1. Mara patched up a wounded teenager, while the synth, Rook, recalibrated its damaged arm. Ember Prime's resistance wasn't an army, it was a collection of survivors, engineers, children, elders, and the desperate. As hegemony tanks thundered into view, Mara gave the signal. Act! But the hegemony adapted quickly. A new weapon. Dissonance emitter flooded the ruins with a sonic pulse, disabling comms and stunning defenders. "We are the last line," she shouted over the din. Mara coordinated with Jin's forces, targeting weak points in the hegemony's lines. Her words echoed in the ruined cathedral, and one by one the survivors rose to fight again. Elsewhere, orbiting in a hidden ship cloaked among the asteroids, Captain Jin Yu, of the Free Humans, listened to the battle with a pounding heart. Rook interfaced with the ancient systems, bypassing safeties and setting a timer. Only the ancient city's shields, barely functional, slowed their advance. The Free Humans were all that remained of the old Earth fleet, a handful of ships, manned by exiles, criminals, and true believers. Jin's voice crackled in her ear. "If you can reach the core, we'll trigger a feedback pulse from orbit, blow the grid, fry the nanites, and give us a fighting chance." Nanites burned. Hegemony soldiers fell, and for one brief, shining moment, humanity's defiance was carved into the bones of Ember Prime. Jin knew that a direct assault would be suicide. But watching the resistance fall without helping was even worse. For the first time in generations, a human world had driven them back. On the bridge, her tactical officer Kellen studied the feeds. Mara, wounded but alive, looked out across the battered city and smiled. Jin considered, weighing the odds. "Or we expose ourselves and the hegemony wipes us out." A shaky voice came over the comms, a child's, hiding in a basement somewhere in the city. Please, don't leave us. Jin closed her eyes, made her choice, and ordered, all ships, prepare for an emergency drop. Today we stand with Ember Prime. The regnant hegemony had learned that humanity would never quietly surrender. The fleet roared to life, silent engines burning as they prepared to risk everything for a planet the galaxy had forgotten. On Ember Prime, Mara's team had retreated to the catacombs beneath the city. They're bringing in heavier artillery, Rook reported, mechanical voice steady. We have maybe 1 hour. Mara's mind raced. We need an edge. Something they don't expect. Mara hesitated. That much energy would destroy half the city and anyone left inside. It's suicide. Better a memory of resistance than none at all, Rook replied. Before Mara could answer, the comms crackled. Jin's fleet had broken through the blockade. Dropships thundered through the clouds, scattering supplies and landing volunteer fighters. Mara's eyes widened with hope. We're not alone. Above, the hegemony's admiral realized too late that his enemy was not a dying species, but a fire refusing to be stamped out. The battle for Ember Prime had truly begun. The resistance surged. Fresh supplies, new fighters, and a glimmer of hope turned desperation into determination. But the enemy was relentless. The admiral unleashed nanite swarms machines that devoured everything organic. As the city trembled, Mara and Rook led a strike team to the old power plant, fighting room by room against automated hegemony soldiers. Mara's team broke through, battered and bleeding. The fusion core glowed, pulsing with deadly energy. We have 2 minutes to get clear, Rook said. Mara looked at her friends, some too young, some too old, all determined. Let's make it count. They raced through collapsing tunnels as the hegemony soldiers poured in behind them. Outside, Jin's fleet readied the pulse. The people of Ember Prime held their breath. The fusion core detonated in a blaze of white fire, the shockwave rolling across the city. When the smoke cleared, the city still stood scarred, battered, but alive. The hegemony, shocked by the losses and relentless resistance, withdrew. Jin's fleet landed amid the ruins. Survivors embraced, wept, and began rebuilding. We were supposed to vanish, she whispered. But instead we made history. News of Ember Prime's stand swept across the galaxy, sparking uprisings and rebellions on other worlds. And as long as there were humans in Ember Prime or anywhere else, the fire would never go out. End of story.